Hey, welcome and thanks for listening. I'm Chris. This is Oxenane Brief. My host and guest today is Paul Kloster, principal owner of PEK Accounting Services. Now, we all know accounting is the basic element in any business, nonprofit. The question is your accounting services providing you success? And I'm not just talking success, I'm talking significant success. Paul's here to share today how he provides that in the marketplace, and we're honored to represent him. Paul, welcome.
Thank you so much, Chris. Great to be here. Well, I just would like to take this time today to share a couple of documents that I use to work with a client to have good information for decision making. That's what accounting is all about. It's about providing information. If accounting is not providing timely information, management can't make decisions. So our very first step is to really look at the accounting process, look at the discipline that's installed, and because we want to look at what are the decisions being made, how can the accounting team support those decisions and provide that information. So I'd like to go to the first document that PEK uses whenever we begin to start out a relationship, and this helps to give us the basic information of what's happening in the company. What are some of the workings on the balance sheet that give us insight to accounting process, accounting discipline, and how we can support those decisions. Okay, we've got our first form here, and this is our evaluating your balance sheet form. And we like to look at this with the owner of the company, the key executives of the company, and again, before we even start our accounting work, because this is really the first step before planning that accounting work. And so we want to look at last year's balance sheet, this year's balance sheet, and get a feel for what next year might look at. But we look at the key accounts on the balance sheet, and we look at what changes occurred as we look at the prior year. And we look at these key accounts, and this is going to give me insight into, are those decisions properly supported? What's happening on these key accounts? And there's several key accounts here that I like to focus in on. And we've got, and I'll scroll down here as I discuss them, but we've got our assets where we look at the cash balance. You know, is the cash balance increasing or decreasing? And just a response to that information is going to give us the opportunity to learn more about the company just by asking that simple question. Same with accounts receivable. Is accounts receivable increasing or decreasing? Very key piece of information. Then we look at inventory. We ask about prepaid assets. Prepaid assets have a very significant impact to our profit and loss statement. We look at maybe some other assets that are listed on the balance sheet. Could be organizational costs, could be long-term equipment that's being depreciated. And so we look at these other assets to give us, again, this insight into how well the accounting process is being executed. And then we scroll down and we'll look at the liabilities. And the key accounts on the liability side are accounts payable, which is month-to-month obligations to vendors for products and services. We look at credit card balances. We look at those balances, how they fluctuate month to month, because products and services are purchased on credit cards these days, and it can give a significant advantage for financing those purchases. We look at some accrued expenses, which could be payroll, if that's an area where we want to make sure the payroll expense is being properly accounted for. There could be other accruals. There could be accruals for sales tax. There could be accruals for legal services. There could be accruals for accounting services. But these accruals, much in a similar impact with prepaids, impact that profit and loss statement. And then there might be, on the bottom section of the liabilities, some notes payable. And typically those would be obligations on a bank loan, could be on that relate to working capital, that relate to specific assets that are purchased. But our goal here in this review of assets and liabilities and what changes have occurred over that 12-month period, and discussing that with the executive gives us the groundwork for moving forward into the current year. And we begin to talk the same as we look at the current year, ask the same type of questions. We're about midpoint through 2020. What's happening with cash? What's happening with accounts receivable? How is inventory balance looking as you prepare for the last 6 months of the year? Prepaids, same type of analysis, same type of discussion. We look at the liabilities. We look at credit card balances. We look at the accrued expenses. And this examination, this discussion gives us a tremendous amount of insight. And then, of course, at the very bottom of the form, we also want to look at an overview of the profit and loss of, what were sales, what was net income, and what type of tax liability did the company incur for that particular year. And so we look at that for 19, we move forward into 2020, and just with that examination, we begin to get a handle on how we can really make a contribution to 2020 success, and what success means when PEK and our team work with a client is building balance sheet strength. And that's what this balance sheet evaluation is all about. How is the company building balance sheet strength? Because that is the key financial objective that a company needs to be concerned with. If the balance sheet is not growing in strength, it could be getting weaker, and that weakness has to be identified. And that when a balance sheet is being strengthened month by month, year by year, that creates opportunity for growth, opportunity for investment, and this is what we're talking about. And so PEK likes to look at the balance sheet, start evaluating that balance sheet so that we can begin this examination on how we can create accounting services to have this support for the decision making. So this is the first form we use just in our early discussions with a client. So next I'm going to go to our more detailed page where we have an examination of cash flow. This is where balance sheet strength gets really down into week to week, month to month planning and seeing how the cash is coming into the company, seeing how the cash is leaving the company, and we begin to develop an understanding of, are the cash balances adequate to support the business? And this chart is a result of a very detailed accounting of cash collections coming into the company, cash outlays, meaning cash spending for operating expenses. Operating expenses could be rent, payroll, utilities, marketing. Then we have our third category, cash outlays, cash spending for inventory purchases. And then this black line here is for the actual cash balance. And as you can see on this chart, this represents the moving up and down of the cash balance month to month. And the recognition of how that cash balance moves gives us tremendous insight into the opportunity to build balance sheet strength. And so we work with the business owner, we work with the key management team to develop this forecast of future cash collections and outlays to create this type of projection and what our expected cash balances will be. And this is the second step to begin this balance sheet strengthening perspective. And with this perspective, we can design and create accounting process and accounting plans to support the plan for growth, the plan for sustaining, the plan for profits. And this information needs to be given to management so that they can make decisions. And you would be amazed when the business management sees the forecasting and sees what the potential opportunity is. That enables a great amount of confidence, and they begin to make very, very good decisions on the future of the company. And so this is how PEK supports a company, provides information on a timely basis, and we just want to be there to help that company be successful and help all of our clients be successful. And we're looking for long-term opportunities, and beginning with these first two initial steps, I think will get us on that track. So I hope this has been helpful to you all. Looking at these two forums, it would be great to talk with you more about it. So Chris, we'll pass it back to you, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
Thank you, Paul. We've been talking with Paul Kloster, principal owner of PEK Accounting and Consulting. If you're a small business owner or a mid-sized business owner in the Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area of Minnesota, and you'd like to have a conversation, not just a conversation, but a safe conversation through an Oxenane sales consultant to be bridged to Paul, to entertain the prospect of how you might benefit getting a better handle on strengthening your balance sheet, as well as putting more peace in your heart by getting a handle on your cash flow, please give us a call. Our contact information is on the screen. Our phone number is 612-695-9176, or our website, oxenane.com, spelled AUXANEIN.com, or info@oxenane.com. I'm Chris, together with Bob Wellbanks at Oxenane. Thanks for listening. Thanks again, Paul.